Hi guys, welcome to the Raw Light Podcast. My name is Danielle Baker and thank you for being here today. I thought I would do something super exciting today. I thought that it would be really cool to get some of my closest friends, girlfriends, cousins, people to message me and tell me what they're wanting to know on my podcast. I'm very open with everybody in my life, so everybody knows about what I do and things, and quite a few people have been listening to me and messaging me personally about certain questions. So I thought that I would do a bit of a Q&A day today. And there's some really good ones. So I'm going to read some out, and then some of the girls have sent me some voice notes, so I'll let them kind of speak for themselves. But there is one that I'm going to start with, and it's from my cousin, Jess, and she has messaged and said to me, the only ones I can think of are how you managed your energy between Oakley and Josh, and I'll start off with that because she sent me a couple. So, Josh and myself, honestly, when we first had Oakley, it was really tough, if I'm completely honest. We'd gone from being inseparable, like Josh and I, when we first met, we were pretty inseparable. We were literally in that love bubble, that love phase that everyone talks about. We had lots of sex, lots of, time together, hanging out, having fun. That when I fell pregnant, I became a different person. I think Josh really struggled with that at the start because I was really emotional, like highly emotional, and he has grown so much. Probably we've both grown so much, me adjusting my emotions and him also being super understanding of my emotions and learning each other. So I would say that we we I I take my time when Oakley's sleeping. I try to exercise, I try and meditate or have my own time. And then at night time, I'll go off and do my own thing. I tend to go off and have like little day dates with some friends. My mum helps out with Oakley during the day. And then my time with Josh, you know what my mentor said to me? Treat every day like it's a holiday. Don't just wait for a holiday. So that changed things for Josh and I as well. We recently caught up with him, and yeah, we basically asked him a couple of questions because we basically weren't communicating properly after having a baby. It is super challenging, and every baby that you have, you will grow as a person, a different person, and you will have more challenges with communication and different things. It's just the way that it is because you grow as people with two children and not just one anymore. So you have to elevate your communication in different ways. So it hasn't been easy, I'm not going to lie, but we are in such a great place now for all the little things that we've gone through in the last like 12 months with Oakley. We are now managing each other. So when Josh comes home from work, even if I used to have this old wound that I would notice where I would come home and he would be so happy to see me and just want to chat and say hi. And I would be angry at him because he would come home late. And I know that a lot of women do this. And for me, being on the farm my own all day, I used to get into my head too much and be like, oh, this is so annoying. I'm just going to show him how annoyed I am. And that's just the honest truth. But then I picked up on it probably about 6 months ago and I was like, I don't want to be like this anymore. And I have to show up every day. I show up for him every day. When he comes home, am I happy? How am I feeling? And he does the same. What does he need when he walks through the door? And then we give each other as much attention as we can because Oakley's a pretty good sleeper. So once she goes down, she's asleep. And then we kind of have dinner together, chat together, lay on the ground, muck around. We laugh a lot. Josh and I play a lot. We have a really good sense of like humor. He's one of my best friends. Like our sense of humor is so good. And I've noticed that he has started opening up to me a lot more because my love language is words of affirmation. So he comes home and tells me more about his day, whether before he was like, there's no point, it's just I want to leave work at work. But now he actually comes home and tells me things. So we've just changed as people, we've grown, and it hasn't been easy some days, and Oakley does take up a lot of our time, but honestly, she just fits into our life so well. And Josh and I, to be honest, Josh and I don't put Oakley before our relationship. I know that a lot of people won't agree with that, but we don't. We put our relationship because at the end of the day, Josh and I need to be standing strong together. And Oakley to see a strong couple and family. Obviously, if she needs me or him, we're going to obviously put her first, but we try and put each other, those small moments of kissing and hugging, that is when the real connection really happens. So, yeah, that's the answer to that question. The next one is, what do you do to recharge yourself when you feel your energy is getting low? Well, okay, so there's some things. When I feel like I'm getting super heady and super cloudy, I do a workout. Workouts, like exercise for me, is really great. I've only just started to get back into that again. I meditate a lot, not as much as I used to, but meditating is something that I would do to get my energy back. Yeah, I pull in my own energy again. So we give our energy so much during the day. We're constantly sharing it with other people along the way. And then, especially if you come home and say you live with roommates or you have people around you, they're expecting you to give you energy. So you're actually not giving yourself downtime. I also lay on the couch. And you know what? If I don't have much energy, the washing doesn't get done, the dishes don't get done. I literally look after myself so that I can look after Oakley because that's the stage and phase I'm in. Um, I go for a swim in the ocean, just small little things, try and get outside. But mainly, I work on my energy. If I'm low in energy, I know I need to nourish my body. I need to rest a lot. And I know that's super cliche, but I've gotten to a point where I actually have to do this or it's just not going to work for me in my life and where I'm at. The next question was, but also I've seen you've been posting about hormones, balance, and diet. Okay, cool. So the hormones, balance, and diet, I'm actually going to do another whole episode on that. So if anyone is wanting to keep up with my hormones and things, I'm going to do probably next week's episode, or I'm going to do another Q&A and then do that. But I 100% am going to do that. So I'm just going to play now some messages that one of my other girlfriends, Leisha, has asked.
Also, one that I'm personally curious about is the whole guided meditation, visualizations that you do, because I really respond to those from you and just in general. Um, I feel like that's when I do receive messages or go somewhere really beautiful within myself when I sort of get that opportunity to connect into that earth energy, Mother Gaia, and find that safe space kind of rooted down below. I imagine, I don't know, whatever it is, a flowery forest or whatever. Um, so my question in regards to that kind of context is, what's the difference between visualizing fucking genuinely, like it's happening and you're there and you're doing it and you're connected, versus daydreaming and making it up in your head? What is the difference? Like, how do I know? Because I feel like, and I could be so wrong, but I feel like I almost start with being really aware and conscious and kind of creating it and daydreaming it myself, and then it has transitioned into something that's just really deep and beautiful. But now I'm just confused because I haven't done it in so long. I'm like, how do you do it?
So basically, I feel like Leisha's asking about manifestation within that as well. So her questions so Alicia has done some of my courses before and she has really reacted well to the meditations that I do. And the reason why she reacts well, and let me be honest, is because she's so open and trusts me, because we've built trust over the years. Not only is she a good friend of mine, but also she just has always trusted me. She has trusted me enough to open up to me and be open to change and shifting. And this is huge. If you're going into wanting to change and shift in your life, you honestly have to own up and say, hey, I am here for the big thing. Let me get uncomfortable. Tell me what I need to do. Let's do this together. But you have to be wanting to shift. So a lot of people come to me and they unconsciously want to change on the physical side, but they unconsciously don't want to. So that is a huge thing. So to answer her question, it is basically you're manifesting. So when you are sitting there and I take you through a deep meditation, the reason why I do it is because when you start to connect back to my voice and the energy, I'm literally, you might not think it, but I'm energetically pulling you back into your body. And no one would ever know this. I've never ever told this before, but I energetically pull you back into your body and you feel super grounded. following my voice and just following and breathing can literally pull you back into your body, and you can discover so many new little things about you. And for example, I know Alicia has visualized a few times where I've taken her into the forest and she's seen lots of different things that have come up. So basically, I just open energetically an energetic portal for you to really reach in inside your own body and work with your own dimensions. So and she has visualized a few things and they have come real. And so the whole point in meditation and doing visualization meditation is so that you can learn how to manifest what you're looking for in your life. You can have a vision and a dream. And so all you want to do is learn how to feel that dream, see that dream, and you want to feel it, but then you want to let that dream go. Because if you hold on and attach to it too much, you're not going to be able to let the universe bring you something back. It might not be exactly what you thought, but it'll bring you something back. So by feeling into the meditations that I do, feeling into your body, you are starting to access a side of you that can start to open and manifest things in your life. So that is what I will say to that question that she's had. This is the next one.
How do you and Josh come together spiritually when it comes to parenting? Because, of course, Oaks is your shared daughter going through life now. What is your take on all of that? Do you want to get involved a little bit with Oaks energy wise, or is that something that's like a big no-no for you and you don't go there? Like, for example, a more specific question is with the energy work that you do, would you do that of your own accord with Oakley, I guess? Or is that more of a consent thing and you just wouldn't even go there with her until she asked one day in the future, whenever that may be?
So I would probably, to answer this question, I actually love, 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 love this question. I would probably I am a massive, massive believer in leaving kids alone. Oakley has her own journey and her own path. I am here to guide her and to be her mum. I'm not here to be her teacher. I'm here to be her mum. She just needs me to be her mum. I'll probably teach her how to breathe and meditate and maybe practice meditation for her own self and learning breathing techniques. But I won't be intervening with her and energy work. No, if she is showing signs of wanting to learn more, I will be sending her to my mentor. That is just, yeah, I won't be. I feel like my role is to her as a mother. It is not for me to be this energetic teacher on her and to be a teacher. I actually went through that with my mum. I don't really talk about this much, but my mum was a massively powerful healer. Um, really, really, really powerful. So that's why I've come from a long line of powerful women and powerful healing. And she basically kind of took on more of a teaching role with me, and I kind of felt like I didn't really have that, mum kind of motherhood kind of yeah, she became more of a teacher. So I want to be a mum to Oakley. I want to give her, and if she comes to me and she is interested after we've done meditation stuff and she asks questions, then yes, I will guide her and give her my information. But I want her to form her own ideas. And it is really important not to touch children. That my mentor and I have had many conversations about this, and he said he doesn't intervene in his children's lives at all, okay? At all. And this is how it should be. You shouldn't be intervening in their life. They have their own journey and their own path. You can help them grow and flourish, but you do not intervene. Otherwise, you're basically using your gifts. And it's like with anybody in the world, everyone has their own path and their own journey. Learning to stay in your own lane, even with your children, it's super hard. I know people find it super hard to intervene, but yeah, I don't want to. I want to just be her mum. I want to make sure, and even Josh and I have had conversations, but we haven't actually had a big conversation about. I think Josh is just allowing me to take the lead on that side of things. Um, yeah, he's kind of just let me kind of take the lead on those things, and I let him take the lead on other things. So for me, it's basically I don't want to intervene in her energy, and I just want to help love her and be her mum and guide her that way. And then if she comes to me and says to me, hey, when she gets older, or I just teaching her breathing techniques, and she tells me about certain things, I'm going to encourage her to follow that. I'm going to be a very, very conscious mum when it comes to how I want her to grow up. I want her to follow her path and be who she is here to be. And even if I see her going down a wrong direction, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to allow her, as hard as it's going to be, and I know it's going to be hard, I'm going to allow her to discover that, because she needs to be able to go through her little journey in her life and her lessons. And if she comes to me for guidance, that's what I'll be. I'll be there for guidance. But yeah, so no, I won't be intervening with my energy stuff unless she asks. I will be sending her to my mentor to be working with him. Yeah.
The Akashic records or Akashic records or however the hell you say it, what are they? What are
So your Akashic records basically are records that hold everything from past lives. Okay, they hold everything from what you have done in your past life. Say that your whole family has been generational teachers for years and years. In your past life, you probably were a teacher of some sort. For me, for example, I am a healer, and I have generations of that this lifetime. But I know from last lifetimes and a couple of other lifetimes, I have gone and learnt in Egypt of goddesses, and I have learnt codes and symbols, and they have been downloaded into this lifetime back into my body when I opened the records back up again. Um, so basically, I studied under lots of goddesses, and I would be classified as what I would call as a priestess, a real priestess. So real priestess have initiation each lifetime, basically three or well, no more than that, 6 or 7 lifetimes to become basically a goddess of energy, to be able to shape and change and help people shift through energy. Priestesses spend a lot of time praying and shifting using energies. They work with kids and temples, and there's a lot of different things that priestesses do, but they are like a stronger version in the energetic world. And I have been a priestess in many, many lives, and this lifetime was another initiation for me. I've been initiated in China. I've worked with Kuan Yin. I worked with her for a very long time. So this was all held in my Akashic records. Now there is some deeper records that aren't even on this earth that I have done and been. So these records are stored, and when you connect back to your soul, you will have access back to your records again. So Alicia does ask as well. I just didn't play it because it is quite a long message. She does ask how to connect back to them, and this is what I'll say: spend time meditating. Meditating is where it'll get you. Guys, meditating will literally get you anywhere that you want to go in life, okay? And I know people say you don't have to meditate, and you don't. And I don't meditate every day, no, because I don't have time some days, but I try to, because it's my energetic health that I'm looking after. But I'm telling you now, meditation, you know how people say you need to go and take certain like drugs and stuff to have a certain high and to heal something? You can literally do that through meditation. You can do that through visualization. You can literally do anything through meditation. You can jump through dimensions. You can do all sorts. Meditation is so powerful, like super, super powerful, guys. So meditation, yes, practicing meditation and opening up so your spirit's in your body and your soul is outside of your body, connecting back to where your soul is. It'll allow you some access to remembrance. And when you connect with your soul, you start to remember. You start to remember a lot of things. And also, the records are actually stored where God, creator, the universe is, if that's what you want to call it. They are stored there. So you have to kind of go through a couple of like dimensions to be able to get there. So that's why meditating is so important, so that when you meditate, you can connect back up and through. And you're wanting to, God to me is just a creator, okay, who's created us, someone who's created us, and somebody who has basically somebody who has created us from scratch, and they basically have put us back down here to learn and grow, and it's the only place and planet on earth that actually can hold functioning beings again. So, the records hold everything from, so when people say it's bullshit that you shouldn't really get a record reading, well, some people need a record reading to remember a few things and for them to move forward in life. But I genuinely think that you figuring out yourself by meditating is the way to go, because you're getting the access to where you're going, and that's really important. And also, it's really important to know where you're going and what you're accessing. So that's why it's really important to, when you're starting out on this journey, sometimes work with somebody so you get to know yourself well enough to know where you're accessing things from. So, um, yeah, that's really cool. So that was from Alicia again. And then I have another one here from Shannon, and she has open about children. She wanted me to talk about children and different things, and like the portals and things that I've spoken about. So that's what she's kind of, sorry, I was just reading what she's kind of written here. Um, she likes to hear, I know Shannon likes to hear about a lot of my spiritual stuff and what goes on, but a lot about the children. And so recently I put up on my story that Oakley had a lot of portals in her room and that I had to shut them down. And so Oakley is obviously, she comes from me and her grandmother. My mum is obviously a very switched on person. So she has in her DNA a long line of spiritual people. She is way beyond powerful. Like, I know she's like a step up from me, which is absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see what she does. But she tends to do uh, a lot of, sorry, I'm trying to think of the word to use. She basically jumps from dimension to dimension at night time, but she opens portals up and forgets to shut them when she comes back in. So then the beings that she goes and visits, they're all safe and light beings. They wait for her until she goes back to sleep again. So I kind of had to go into her room and shut all portals with light so she could get more rest at night, and just let them know not to contact her unless she's in the lounge or in the kitchen. And I know that probably seems really crazy for people to understand, but this is just the life that I've lived, and it's very much makes sense to me. So how I figured this out actually wasn't, I'm not going to take ownership of this. I was talking to one of my really close friends who I trust deeply, and I just said to her, I just know there's something going on in Oakley's room. I don't know what it is. I feel like there's some sort of portal situation happening in there, because she keeps waking up randomly through the night. And she said to me, you know what? Yes, she has so many portals open. She jumps from dimension to dimension at nighttime. And this can really affect children. Okay, so basically, from the time a child is from like 0 to like 3, they are basically still living half on earth, half back in the spirit world, half back in the dimension that they're from. And that can be very, very daunting for them. It actually can be so daunting for them and their body, okay? It is actually quite, yeah, it's really daunting for them and their body. Imagine living half here, half there. Oakley is actually a very, very grounded baby. I've never found her, even when she was born, I found her that she was very much here on earth. She was not scattered or anything. She was very much centered in who she is. But some children do come back in and they are wanting to be more back in the plane more than they are here. And there is some reasons why. They might not feel completely secure. And let me explain why. Some babies come in and it's from, like, if you've been pregnant and you had a lot of nervousness, or if there's from their past life, they've needed to you've died in their past life and they've needed to be more attached to you. There's so many reasons that kids can really go through. They can see imaginary friends, some energies like to attach to children. It's just, there is so much to it. And like I've said to Shannon before, there is actually so much to it. And I want to be very clear, I don't know absolutely everything. I know things that I channel, and I know things that I connect to and what I know to be my truth. Um, and somebody else might say something different. And, So I don't know everything. I'm not like the be all God and know everything. I am just sharing from my experiences and what I've learned over the years. But yes, children do struggle sometimes to connect with their energetic bodies being here on earth, and they can sometimes want to be more out of earth than here, and that does come down to the security of the mum and the baby and how their bond is as well. There's loads and loads and loads and loads of reasons, physically, spiritually, all sorts. So I'm just going to leave it there with that answer, because that is a huge answer to kind of explain. um, Yeah, so what I will say for the rest of that is I might actually talk about a little bit of my nutrition, because that was a question that one of the girls asked. And I will say that with the nutrition, I will say that I have been on a massive journey basically my whole life. I used to kind of feel like I had a lot of shame around my body. I had bigger hips, I had a bigger bum. I've never felt more comfortable in my body than after I've had Oakley, and also being with my husband. He literally just sees me for my inside beauty, and not just my outside beauty. So that's really, I just feel so comfortable at home. Like there's no question about it. So I feel very easy to express my body and things now. So that's on a physical level. On a food level, I've really had to work on my hormones, because I used to get migraines and want to vomit. Um, my whole body system would just basically have a meltdown like a day or two before my period. And I just wanted to stop that. I've just literally just gone, I want this to stop. So I started with Nikki Gonda, her course. I have not finished it. I'm like three-quarters of the way through, two-thirds to the way through. I'm taking my time going through it. I've adjusted a lot more of my body. I've drank a lot more water. I'm taking B2. I'm pretty no B2 B12. I can't remember. I'd have to have a little look for you guys, and I'll write it in the show notes what I'm actually taking. But Nikki suggests looking at your food first and then the tablets. So making sure that we look at our nutrition, because she said the thing in the world at the moment with hormones is people are going straight to, well, I need to take all these tablets to help balance me out. And that's not true. What you need to do is take a look at your nutrition, what you're eating in your diet daily. It is literally a life changing moment for me to really change. I want to change everything. So I've changed my diet for me, not for anybody else, but for me. It doesn't mean I don't have a slip up and have like a small chocolate or a small lolly on and off, but I barely touch that type of food, because I noticed that every month having Oakley and having my period and having splitting headaches and migraines, to the point where I basically felt like I wanted to vomit. And always I just had no energy, like zero. This time around, I'd only started it probably like 5 weeks ago now, and I got my period last week or the week before that, and I was less hormonal drop, so I was less grumpy. I literally did not take it out on Josh the week before. I was not grumpy. I didn't have attitude. I wasn't like horrible to deal with, because I feel like I used my period as an excuse to be a bit horrible to my husband. I'm going to be honest, because it was like, well, this is my time of the month. I'm going to do and say whatever I want. But I realized that it was really hard for him to deal with me like that. And it was hard for me to deal with myself like that. And also, I have Oakley now, so I can't just be a dickhead. Like, I need to sort myself out and really sort my body out. So I decided that enough was enough. So yeah, I've changed. I From what Nikki was saying, my diet is pretty solid basically from what she is saying on her course. My diet is fairly solid. I just need to up water and up a few things and change a few things. Like I said, I have not finished it, and I will let you know once I have finished the course, but it has basically changed my life. Like, I'm not even joking when I say that. I also didn't even get any pain this time, and I was bleeding fairly heavy. And I started to look at my period of more of a beautiful way to connect back to my body and release. We get to shed every month all the shit that comes through. So this is why it's really important every month to listen to your body. So we obviously have 4 stages and 4 phases, which I've known about for years. So I've known the basics about like periods, but I've never known hormonal health. So I've known the basic, but not hormonal health. So basic things I've learned is we basically go through every season within a month. So if you think about that, and there's 365 days a year, we go through and have our periods so long. Um, and we go through every single phase. So each season that we go through on our physical side, we're also going through that every month in our body in, and that is so huge for women to kind of delve into. Throw in the fact that you're postpartum and you just had a baby. I realized that my nutrition for me after giving birth was shit. I did not look after myself properly. Josh and I did prepare a lot of food, and we did have a beautiful box that my sister-in-law and my brother got me as well, but I could not keep anything down. My body was shaking. I didn't feel like I had the nutrition that I needed, and I wasn't sure what to eat because Oakley was so little and her stomach was always sore. And I'm 100% sure she had silent colic as well, because she would just scream and scream and scream as a baby until we basically just like sorted her out. So yeah, I personally feel that that it has changed the way that I look at my diet and myself. I, like I said, feel 100% better. Obviously, I still have tired days, and that just depends on what I've eaten the next day, how much water I've intaked. I'm also cut caffeine completely out of my diet. I noticed that coffee really fucks with my hormones and me, and I've also taken more time to prep food. Like, I cook a meal every breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, it's just the way that I've always been since having Oakley and before that, because I like to nourish my body. But things that I was scared to eat was like rice. I eat black rice. So I was really scared to even touch rice because I thought it was going to make me fat. There was just like all these old little systems. And that actually comes from my mum. So my mum actually had bulimia or anorexia. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was anorexia when she was, no, bulimia? Anorexia. Yeah, anorexia. She struggled with that her whole life. So basically, that DNA passed down to me, and I had thoughts. I lucky I worked with my mentor at the time, but I did have thoughts of feeling like that I personally, I would eat like a vegetarian to become skinny, and I would work out and bust my body to become, not healthy, but just because I wanted to look good, and it wasn't even for my mind and mental state. And now that I've had Oakley, and I actually had 2 years off working out and things because I really just wanted to get to the mental problem of that I was having with my body. I'm basically now feeling absolutely incredible with the way that I look and things like that. I still have days where I'm like, oh man, I just wish that, like, just tiny things, but I try not to judge myself as best as I possibly can, and I try and just roll with things, like I said, as best as I possibly can. So yeah, that's a part of my journey. I'm going to do a bit more of an in-depth, I think, of a in-depth speaking about it and stuff like that in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I I really appreciate all these messages that the girls sent me because they're quite common ones. And another one that someone did ask me recently was what's happening in the universe. And what I will say is, I could tell you what's happening in the universe, but how about we focus on what's going on in your life? Take a look at the moment of what's going on in your life and what doesn't suit you. And then it will basically tell you what's going on in the universe. So if you're being pointed to, for example, if you're being pointed to, if someone in your life and other things around you keep coming up with conversations about, say, detoxing, like, because I said to her, well, if I'm going to be completely honest, gut health is a huge thing at the moment and what we should be working on, because there's a huge purge happening within women and their wombs at the moment. And she said to me that she had just started a 3-day, I didn't know this, a 3-day detox for her liver cleanse, for her to cleanse her body and her liver as best as she possibly could. So follow your instincts and it'll tell you what's going on for you to do in the universe at the moment, because it's completely different for everybody else, because completely different people have different journeys. Most people will resonate. And here's the thing, when we go to spiritual people for things, we want an answer to what's happening in our life that is super chaotic. And so for me, I personally feel that if you're wanting to know what's going on, look within who you are, look within yourself, and look within what is happening around you, and it'll give you the answers. And sometimes the answers are always within, but we're not willing to look at what is around us because we're afraid of losing what we've got. But I can tell you now, you're better off losing what you've got if it's causing you pain and friction than having something that's like, you know, that's basically having something in your life that's not healing or not serving you and your journey anymore. And I feel like a lot of people put up with a lot more than they should because they think that they should do something and be someone in a certain way, sort of thing. So that is what I'll say, and I'll end on that note today. But thank you to all the gals, my gals, who put in questions, and I hope that it's answered a lot of your questions on certain things. But please do send through anything that you have questions about and that you want to speak about. Please let me know if there is anything that you would like to talk about because that's what's really important to me. It's basically helping you guys, and it's basically being able to share what my knowledge is around everything for you guys. So it would be awesome if you guys could contact me and ask me questions. There's no shame in asking any questions, like I'm talking anything from motherhood to spirituality and all those types of things. Just let me know. So yeah, we'll finish up on that note. And thanks for being here, guys. Thank you for all your support. Like, honestly, it means a lot to me. And I will see you next week.